Doyle. Today we're going to talk about the puzzle block quilt that I have here in front of me and how to do it. Initially I was thinking about a pattern, but this is just too simple to make. You don't really need a pattern for it. Here's a little one, a little mug rug that I made in the same pattern. The basic principle is that you start out with squares of fabric, and you need 9 squares of each of the fabric. And what you simply do to get the puzzle block going is that you take 2 squares of the 9 patch and you move them to the ends like that. And then on this one here, I'm going to take these 2 right here and move them like this, so that I have those two positioning of the nine squares, and you can see from over here that these just now interlock. So I'm going to do that here on this one. I'm going to move those 2 squares again and move that here and that here, and then to square it up, all I'm going to do is take the squares and move them to the bits that need to have an extra square in them. So here we go, and that will square up the quilt, as you can see. And then once you read it, you've got it all squared up and got all of those little innies filled. And it's a nice, in this case, it's going to be a square cushion, and all of these squares are going to end up being 1.5 inches finished. So let me put that one there just to make sure that I have a contrasting thing going on. And you can see, ta-da, there we go. It's ready to go. And once I've got it like that, it's ready to piece. Now these are 1.5-inch squares cut, and so I can actually do it on my mini mosaics grid. There we go, mini mosaics. This is the big tile grid, and all I'm going to do is take the rows of it. I've got my fusible interfacing positioned glue side up, and I'm simply going to move those tiles over onto the grid and press them in place so that they're stuck down like that. The other technique you can do is that here we have another solution, and that is from a company called 10 Sisters. If you can focus in on the name here. This is a grid. It's the same as my grid, so that you have enough space to piece it. And this is their 1-inch finished grid. 10 Sisters Easy Piecing Grid this is done by my friend Carmen Geddes. Now I've done one here that I'm going to be piecing, and I've used Carmen's grid on the back. You can see first of all that the tiles are all ready to just sort of fold and stitch, and you can see that her grid, like mine, allows you to do that very easily because it's got the space for all the squares. And so she has the 1-inch grid that's on the back here. But she also has a wonderful grid, which is a 2-inch finished grid. And here's a quilt that I'm gonna be piecing in that. And here's the Carmen's Easy Piecing Grid for a 2-inch finished square. So I'm gonna share some photos as I go, and I hope you enjoy the project. So go to it.